My 39 male, wife 36 female has been having an affair for months. I just found out and my world is shattered. What do I even do now? Found my wife's secret phone, saw the messages, and my life exploded. She's being so irritatingly sorry, but also justifying it. I'm a mess. Hey Reddit, throwaway for obvious reasons. I never thought I'd be posting here. I always read these stories and felt this distant pity. Now I'm in the middle of one, and it feels like a bad movie, but the kind where you're also the main character getting hit by a bus in slow motion. My wife, let's call her Chloe, and I have been married for 12 years. 2 kids, 8 and 5. The classic comfortable marriage, I guess. We'd been in a bit of a rut. Less date nights, more scrolling on phones, conversations about logistics, dentist appointments, grocery lists. I thought it was normal long-term stuff. I was planning a weekend away to reconnect, for God's sake. The signs were there, but I was willfully blind. She was suddenly very into her appearance, new lingerie I never saw, working late more often, and her phone became an extension of her body, always face down. She'd get texts at weird hours and say it was her mom or a work group chat. I'm an idiot. I trusted her. It all came crashing down 3 days ago. I was cleaning out the garage, her request, of course, because my projects are clutter, and I knocked over an old box of her college stuff. A cheap, modern smartphone, not her current one, tumbled out from between some yearbooks. It was charged. It buzzed in my hand. A notification lit up the screen. Miss you already, beautiful. Tonight was incredible. My stomach just dropped out of my body. I felt physically cold. I sat there on the concrete floor, surrounded by my own junk, and I unlocked it. The passcode was our youngest's birthday, a sickening twist. The messages, I don't even want to describe them in detail. They were graphic. They were loving. They spanned months. There were plans, inside jokes, criticisms of me. He's just so unaware, it's exhausting. The other guy is some guy from her spin class, a friend she'd mentioned, a lot. I didn't scream, I didn't cry. I just sat there, reading for maybe an hour. My whole life, our whole history rewrote itself in that hour. Every late night, every new outfit, every time she was distant, it all clicked into this horrible, clear picture. I'm gonna stop here for now. Just writing this out is making me shake. I'll post the next part soon, about the confrontation. It didn't go how I thought it would. She's a lot, and I mean a lot. Update 1. Wow, this blew up. I'm reading all your comments. Thank you for the support. It helps to not feel so alone. I'll continue the story in the next post. Okay, back. Thanks for waiting, everyone. So after finding the phone in the garage, I just shut down. I didn't confront her. I didn't scream. I placed the phone back in the box exactly as I'd found it. I mechanically finished cleaning the garage, putting my tools away, stacking boxes. My mind was pure, static-filled white noise. She was out with the kids at a birthday party, so I had about 3 hours of agonizing silence. I sat at the kitchen island, staring at the clock. The shoulds cycled through my brain on a loop. I should pack a bag. I should call my brother. I should drive to that spin studio and find this Mark guy. I should smash something. But my body felt like it was made of lead. I was paralyzed. The betrayal felt less like a wound and more like an organ removal, this deep, cold hollowing out of everything I thought was solid. The worst part was the mental rewinding. Suddenly, every "I have a late work meeting," every new piece of lingerie that was for her, every time she was distracted and staring at her phone with a faint smile, it all snapped into a horrifying, clear picture. The narrative of my last 8 months was a lie. I had been a background character in my own life, completely unaware of the main plot. When I finally heard the minivan pull into the driveway, the kids' laughter bubbling through the front door. My blood turned to ice. How do you smile? How do you ask, how was the party? How do you look at the face of the person you've loved for over a decade and know it's the face of someone who chose every single day for months to lie to you? I plastered on the most unconvincing smile in human history and said, "Hey guys, have fun?" It was the start of the worst performance of my life. I waited until the kids were in bed. Tucking them in was agony. My daughter asked, "Daddy, are you sad?" Kids just know. I forced a smile and said I was just tired. Every moment felt like a betrayal to them, too, because I was pretending everything was normal when it was all shattered. When I finally walked into our bedroom, she was already in bed, scrolling on her real phone, probably texting him. The casualness of it made me see red for a second. I had to force calm into my voice. "We need to talk, now. Living room." She sighed, that irritated, put-upon sigh I now realize she used whenever I inconvenienced her secret life. "What is it? I'm exhausted." I didn't say a word. I just walked to the living room. She followed, annoyed. I picked up the burner phone from where I'd hidden it under a couch cushion and held it out in my open palm. I didn't look at her. I watched her reflection in the dark TV screen. The color drained from her face instantly. No confusion. No, "What's that?" Just pure gut-level panic. That was the second confirmation I didn't want. The first was the texts. This was the proof she knew exactly what I'd found. I finally turned to look at her. My voice was flat, dead. "Who is he, Chloe? And don't you dare lie to me one more time." The silence that followed was the loudest sound I've ever heard. It was filled with 8 months of lies. That silence broke like a dam. Her reaction was a chaotic masterclass in deflection and self-justification. It was a lot, a whole damn lot. First came the defensive anger, a flash of it. "You went through my things? That's a huge violation of my privacy." She actually said that. I just stared, holding up the glowing evidence of her 8-month privacy. The anger fizzled, replaced by immediate theatrical tears. She crumpled onto the couch, sobbing. "I'm so sorry. It just happened. It didn't mean anything." But then, within minutes, the narrative started to shift. The excuses wove themselves into the apology, and this is where it became truly insufferable. The tears were still flowing, but her words turned sharp, pointed at me. "You've been so emotionally absent for years. We're like roommates. I tried to talk to you, but you're always in your own world." She was painting me as this oblivious, neglectful husband who forced her into the arms of a spin instructor named Mark. I felt invisible. He saw me. He made me feel alive again. It was like listening to a bad therapy podcast. She was sorry, but she was also making it painfully clear she considered this affair a symptom of our disease, a tragic but understandable outcome of my failings. She admitted it had been going on for 8 months. She said it was physical and emotional. She said she was going to end it. She said it was a mistake, but every sentence was poisoned with that word "but." "I'm sorry, but you have to understand. I never wanted to hurt you, but I was so lonely." I just stood there, listening to this rewrite of our marriage. The man in the texts, the passionate, desired woman she was with him, was nothing like the weary, nagging wife she portrayed herself as with me. The cognitive dissonance was staggering. She wanted my forgiveness while simultaneously handing me the blueprint of why it was my fault. The sheer audacity was almost impressive. After the confrontation, which felt more like her presenting a flawed defense case, I didn't sleep. I spent the night on the couch, the silence of the house screaming at me. The emotional impact hit in violent, unpredictable waves, and the first one to truly swamp me was pure, unadulterated rage. It hit at 4 a.m., this white-hot, blinding fury that made my hands shake. It wasn't just about Mark, it was about everything. The gaslighting, the "you're so unaware" comments in the texts, the fact she used our kid's birthday as her goddamn passcode, the months of lies spoken directly to my face over dinner. I wanted to break things. I pictured driving to his apartment, confronting him. I imagined saying every vile, cutting thing I could think of to her. The anger was a fire in my chest, and it felt better than the hollow numbness. At least it was something. But by the time the sun came up, the fire had burned out, leaving only cold, toxic ash. The second wave crashed over me. Grief. Profound, debilitating sadness. I scrolled through my phone, looking at pictures from a year ago. A beach vacation, a birthday dinner. Was she already with him then? Were those smiles fake? I looked at our wedding album, tucked on a shelf. The vows felt like a sick joke. This wasn't just the death of a marriage, it was the murder of my past. Every happy memory was now a crime scene, contaminated by the question of what she was really thinking. Then came the third wave, the most insidious one, insecurity. Her words, her justifications started to echo. Was I emotionally absent? Was I a bad husband? I started obsessively reviewing our last few years, looking for my crimes. Did I not listen enough? Did I not date her enough? The betrayal had fractured my own sense of reality and self. One part of me knew her excuses were bullshit. You communicate, you go to counseling, you don't fuck your personal trainer for 8 months. But the wounded part wondered if maybe I had driven her to it. I called in sick to work for 2 days. I couldn't eat. I'd be driving to get coffee and a song would come on, some stupid thing we used to sing along to, and I'd have to pull over because I was crying so hard I couldn't see the road. The emotional whiplash was exhausting. Rage, grief, shame, rinse, repeat. And through it all, I had to be dad, making pancakes and helping with homework, while my internal world was a nuclear wasteland.
We're now living in this suffocating, fake version of our life. She's switched modes entirely. The defiant justifier is gone, replaced by what I can only describe as performance penitence Chloe. She's trying to be Superwife 2.0. She's making my favorite meals, dishes she hasn't cooked in years. She's doing all my laundry, folding my socks with a disturbing level of care. She bought me a stupidly expensive watch I'd mentioned liking 6 months ago. It feels grotesque. Every gesture feels like a transaction, a bribe to erase the last 8 months. It's not reconciliation, it's frantic damage control. The worst part is the hypervigilance. Every time her phone buzzes, my entire body tenses. I watch her face for a flicker of something. She started leaving her phone out in the open, screen up, transparently. But it feels like another layer of theater. She'll say things like, "I'm going to the grocery store. Here's my phone if you need me." It's so over the top, it makes me nauseous. She wants to talk about us constantly, but on her terms. She wants to skip to the how we heal part without fully wading through the what you did swamp. She suggested couples counseling, which is rich, but when I said I needed individual therapy first to even process being lied to for nearly a year, she looked hurt, like my need to heal alone was a rejection of her grand fix-it plan. We're sleeping in the same bed again, but it's a mile of cold mattress between us. The physical revulsion is real. The thought of touching her makes my skin crawl. She tried to initiate intimacy last night, a soft hand on my arm, and I physically flinched. The look on her face was pure, wounded frustration. She doesn't get it. The person who shared my bed for 12 years is gone. In her place is a stranger, whose touch feels like a violation, a reminder of where else those hands have been. The kids are confused. They sense the tension wrapped in this weird, polite cheer. Our son asked if we were having a quiet contest. We're failing them right now, and that guilt is a weight strapped directly to my heart. I know I need to make a decision, to stop floating in this awful purgatory. But between the rage, the grief, the performance, and the sheer logistical terror of blowing up our lives, I feel paralyzed. Everyone says lawyer up, but looking at my kids' drawings on the fridge, the idea of not seeing them every day feels like a second, just as fatal betrayal.
The paralysis broke in the stupidest, most mundane way possible. It was a Tuesday. She was at work. I was working from home, trying to focus on a spreadsheet that made zero sense. I needed a specific folder from her desk in the study, a tax document. I wasn't snooping. I swear I wasn't. I found it, but next to it was a notepad. The top sheet was a draft of a letter to him. It was in pencil, words scratched out and rewritten. It wasn't a goodbye forever letter. It was a "this is so hard, but we need to be smart right now" letter. Phrases leapt out: "My love, this pause hurts so much. When things calm down, what we have is real." The performance penitence, the shopping, the watch, it was all just that, a performance, a strategic pause. She wasn't ending it. She was hiding it better. She was waiting for things to calm down, for me to get over it so she could go back to her real love. The numbness I'd been craving came back, but it was different. It was clean, sharp. The emotional tornado, the rage, the grief, the insecurity just stopped. It was like someone flipped a switch. All the noise in my head went silent, replaced by a single, cold, crystal-clear directive. I didn't cry. I didn't smash anything. I took a picture of the letter with my phone. I put the notepad back exactly as it was. I finished my work task. Then I Googled best divorce attorneys near me. I called the top 3. I booked consultations with all of them for the next 2 days using my lunch breaks. I called my oldest friend, the one who knew me before her, and said, "It's over. I have proof she's still in it. I need you to not ask questions. Just tell me I'm not crazy." He did. I opened a new bank account. The clarity was terrifying in its own way, but it was freedom. She was still living in the drama of her affair, juggling her husband and her lover, playing the martyr. I was no longer a player in her story. I had just become the judge, and the sentence was dissolution.
I met with the lawyers. That was a reality check and a half. The first one, a sharp woman in a ruthless suit, laid it out like a military campaign. Asset division, parenting plans, the cold calculus of separating a life. She told me to start documenting everything: the secret phone, the letter, timelines. "Emotion is for therapy," she said. "This is a negotiation." It was brutal, but I needed it. I didn't tell Chloe about the consultations. I needed the upper hand, a concept entirely foreign to me in our relationship. The performance penitence continued unabated at home. Watching it now with my new clarity was like studying a bizarre animal exhibit. Her transparency felt pathetic. Her favorite meals tasted like ash. Every kind gesture was just a line item in her defense fund. The moment of truth came Friday night. The kids were at a sleepover. She'd made some elaborate dinner, lit candles. She was wearing the perfume she used to wear for date nights years ago. She started the speech I'm sure she'd been rehearsing. "I know I've broken us. I know it will take time, but I am committed to doing whatever it takes to rebuild. I want us to go to counseling, to really talk, to—" I held up a hand. I didn't raise my voice. The cold clarity held me steady. "Stop, Chloe. Just stop." She looked startled, mid-sentence. "What?" "I found the letter, the draft, to Mark. My love, when things calm down." All the color drained from her face again. This time it wasn't panic. It was the shock of a gambler whose hidden card has been spotted. The performance vanished. Her mouth opened, but no buts came out. "So let's be clear," I continued, my voice flat.
You are not committed to rebuilding us. You are committed to managing the fallout until you can get back to him. Your apology is a strategy. This dinner is a tactic. I'm not interested in being part of your logistics anymore." The mask was completely off now. I saw it. The irritation, the frustration at being caught again, at her plan unraveling. There was no heartfelt breakdown, just a cold, calculated reassessment. "So what are you saying?" she asked, her voice tight. "I'm saying you should go be with him tonight. I've contacted lawyers. We are getting a divorce. You can explain to the kids when the time is right why you're moving out. But the performance, it's over. We're done."
The fallout from that night was both explosive and eerily quiet. She didn't go to him that night. She locked herself in the guest room. The house felt like a sealed tomb. The next morning, the dynamic had shifted into something entirely new, a cold, formal negotiation between hostile diplomats. Her guilt and performance evaporated, replaced by a defensive, hardened posture. The justifications came back, but now they were bullet points in a custody argument. "You were emotionally neglectful," became "the home environment was already broken." Our conversations were no longer about us, they were about assets, schedules, who would keep the absurdly expensive watch she'd bought me as a bribe. I told her I wanted her to move out. She refused, citing her rights to the marital home. My lawyer confirmed this. So we began the awful dance of living separately together. I moved into the finished basement. We instituted a shared calendar for the kids, a color-coded spreadsheet for groceries. We communicated via terse, logistical text messages. Soccer practice moved to 5, we'll pick up. Mortgage paid. The hardest moment was telling the kids. We did it together in a scripted, horrifyingly civil way. "Mommy and Daddy love you very much, but we have decided we will be happier living in separate houses." Our daughter cried. Our son got angry, threw a toy, asked if it was because he didn't clean his room. That shattered me. The guilt of doing this to them is a physical pain, a constant companion to the betrayal. But a strange thing happened in the basement. In the quiet, away from her energy in the theater of our old life, the emotional whiplash began to slow. The rage still flared, but it was a cleaner burn. The grief was still there, but it was for the idea of us, the family I thought we were. The real woman upstairs, the strategist, the liar, the person who wrote "my love" to another man while serving me meatloaf. I felt nothing for her but a distant, profound disappointment. The love was gone. It was like a tooth that had been aching for months had finally been pulled. The pain of the extraction was sharp, but the deeper, throbbing agony was over.
The legal process is a slow, grinding machine designed to drain your wallet and your soul. We're in the thick of it. Mediation sessions are a special kind of hell, sitting across a table from someone you once promised your life to, arguing over who gets the good TV and the custody schedule for Thanksgiving 2024. She fights for everything, not out of sentiment, but out of spite. The set of dishes her grandmother gave us, she suddenly must have them. It's a proxy war. But outside that conference room, a new life is painfully, slowly taking shape. I found an apartment. It's small and it echoes with emptiness, but it's mine. The first night I spent there, alone, I ordered terrible pizza and sat on the floor. And I didn't cry. I felt a profound, aching loneliness, but beneath it was a foundation of something solid, integrity. I wasn't pretending anymore. The kids are adjusting. They have their rooms at both places. Our time together is more focused now, less about maintaining the facade of a happy household, and more about just being present with them. I'm not a perfect dad. I'm tired, I'm sad sometimes, but I'm real. And kids, for all their confusion, sense authenticity. I heard through the mutual friend grapevine that she and Mark are officially together.
They were seen at some downtown restaurant. The news should have leveled me. Instead, it felt like someone had finally closed a book I'd grown tired of reading. Let her have her spin-class romance. Let him deal with the person who chronicles grievances in secret notes and stages elaborate performances of remorse. That's his problem now. My own problem is rebuilding a man from the scraps left behind. Therapy helps. My friends, the real ones, help more. I'm learning, for the first time in a long time, what I actually like to do, not what I did as part of us. It's awkward and small. I go to the movies alone. I'm trying to learn how to cook something that isn't pasta. The future is a blank page, and most days that's terrifying. But some days, just for a moment, it feels like possibility.
It's been a year since my first post. I'm sitting in my apartment, which no longer echoes. It has art on the walls I chose. A couch that's admittedly too big for the space, and a coffee table littered with my kids' Lego projects. The divorce is final. The papers came last week. I felt nothing when I signed them, just a vague sense of administrative closure. I won't lie and say I'm over it. You don't get over a tectonic plate shift in your life. You just learn to live on the new landscape. The betrayal is a scar, not a wound. It aches when the weather changes. A song, a smell, our daughter's laugh that sounds just like hers. But the all-consuming fury, the soul-crushing grief, they've receded. They're memories of a storm I survived. What I've learned is this: trust your gut. The unaware husband my wife described wasn't a fool. He was a man who trusted his partner. The moment you feel like you're being written out of the script of your own marriage, pay attention. If your partner becomes a critic instead of a teammate, that's the red flag. Also, and this is crucial, cheaters cheat because of them, not because of you. Her justifications were a smokescreen. Her unhappiness, her boredom, her need to feel seen, those were her responsibilities to communicate or address, not licenses to deceive and destroy. Don't let them transfer the blame for their choices onto your shoulders. You can work on a marriage. You can't work on a secret life. My advice to anyone in the thick of it? Get a lawyer first. Before you confront, before you do anything. Knowledge is power, and you need an advocate who sees the battlefield, not the heartbreak. Therapy is non-negotiable. Not couples therapy right away, individual therapy. You need a place to unravel the madness without someone trying to rewrite history beside you. Protect your relationship with your kids at all costs. They are the only truly innocent parties in this. Do not weaponize them. Do not badmouth your ex to them. Be the stable shore. Allow yourself to feel everything, but don't let it make your decisions. I made my best moves from a place of cold clarity, not hot rage or deep sorrow. As for Chloe, we are effective co-parents. We communicate about schedules and school events. She's still with Mark, I believe. I feel no hatred toward her, just a distant pity. The love is gone, and with it, the power she had to hurt me. My life is smaller, quieter, and infinitely more honest. I'm dating a little, awkwardly, nervously. It's strange to be known as just me again, not one half of a we. To the guy sitting on his garage floor, holding a secret phone, his world in pieces, I see you. It gets better. Not easier, but better. You will walk out of the fire. You will be burned, and you will be changed, but you will be whole again, on your own terms. Start walking.